16 Personality Factors by Raymond B. Cattell. Quick, brief history of 16 personality factors. How was 16PF created? Raymond B. Cattell, a statistician, psychologist, and chemist. This is him on the left side of the slide. 16PF was developed in 1949. Factor analysis process to narrow down 16 traits. Started with 4,500 adjectives to describe people, in addition to discovering the 16 normal range personality traits for which the instrument is named. These researchers identified the 5 broad dimensions, a variant of the Big Five factors. The 16PF 5th edition also includes 5 global factors, including extroversion, anxiety, tough-mindedness, independence, and self-control. 16PF questionnaire was also quickly translated and adapted into many other languages since its first publication in 1949. The test has also been translated into over 20 languages and dialects. Raymond B. Cattell was also an early contributor to the Big Five school of thought, and his research into personality helped shape in this theory, which is widely accepted today as a standard way of analyzing personality. The Big Five theory proposes that all traits fall under 5 broad groupings, and these groupings have been found in several different psychometric personality questionnaires. What does the test measure? So the 16 personality factor questionnaire is a comprehensive measure of normal range personality found to be effective in a variety of settings where an in-depth assessment of the whole person is needed. The questionnaires extensive body of research stretches back over half a century, providing evidence of its utility in clinical counseling, industrial, organizational, educational, and research settings. It can be a powerful means of gauging an individual's work, style, and strengths so you can separate the great from the good and help guide millennials into leadership positions to support strategic goals. In clinical settings, it provides psychologists with measures of anxiety, adjustment, and other behavioral trends that help counselors make diagnostic decisions and plan treatment strategies. The questionnaire also enables you to drill down for deeper insight, looking at all 16 primary factors provides a more solid base of information for predicting future behavior and performance. 16PF seems to evaluate personality in terms of traits and individual qualities. However, these are assessed on a scale among a range of aspects as opposed to being given a score of high to low. On your left side is the 16 personality factors. So warm, It's the to for close relationships, emotional stability, liveliness, and so on. Going back to the five global factors, these 16 personality dimensions can be further grouped into five global factors, which reveal underlying relationships among 16 primary scales. That is, again, extraversion, independence, tough mindedness, self control, and anxiety. Facts and samples. So 16PF is a 185 multiple choice item test written at a 5th grade reading level, untimed. Questionnaire asks about specific everyday situations in order to assess your daily behavior, interests, and opinions. You're asked to rate each statement on a 5 point scale from strongly disagree to strongly agree, or from very inaccurate to very accurate. Some of the examples are: my thoughtfulness is charitable nature are my foundation. I like to solve complex problems. I continue until everything is perfect. I have here a sample of the answer sheet. It's actually, I think this is in Spanish. I could not get hold of the questionnaire itself because I think that's not allowed here in the internet. So this is the 16PF psychometric properties. First is validity. Validity studies reported in the technical manual and in research literature provide a considerable amount of evidence regarding the construct and criterion related validity of the primary and global 16PF scales. Has excellent face validity. The test is relatively easy to take with all the 185 questions having to be answered by either A, B, or C. Reliability. The internal consistency reliability, aka coefficient alpha, averages 0.76. Reliability coefficients for the global factor scales are higher because they are aggregates of several positively correlated primary factors. Given the length and breadth of scales, the reliability estimates are considered sufficiently high to provide meaningful personnel and career guidance. Administration and scoring. So, who can administer 16PF? Statistic solutions consist of team professional methodologists and statisticians can assist the student or professional researcher in administering the survey instrument, collecting the data, conducting the analysis, and explaining the results. Administration and scoring available by both traditional paper and pencil scoring keys and modern internet and computer software modes. Generally, the test is administered after the client has met with the professional and has developed rapport and gained an understanding of the purpose of testing. Scoring can be done through hand scoring. The materials needed to hand score include a set of 4 scoring keys, a norm table, and individual record form, sheets, should be checked to ensure that the test taker answered all items and gave only one answer. Raw scores are obtained by placing each key over the answer sheet and counting the items that are marked for each scale if they appear through the keyhole. Raw scores are transformed to standard scores. Another scoring is through computer scoring. Online administration and scoring are available on the internet via net access. Clients access the test using a passcode. On its completion, the test is scored and reported. Reports are transmitted to the professional via email. Okay, the third one is score reporting on the STEN scale. Scores on the test are presented on a 10-point scale called STEN or Standard 10 scale, with a mean of 5.5 and standard deviation of 2. Scores are based on representative and up-to-date norms. I have here a sample of administration instructions. I cannot zoom it, but yes, this is it. And another sample of response. Oh, sorry, this is not response, this is a answer sheet. Okay, moving on to interpretation. Sorry, that was scoring sheet. Scoring sheet. Okay, so interpretation. It is important that understanding the meaning of each primary scale and how the primary scales combine to make up the global scales is critical knowledge for interpreting the test. The 16PF personality scales use 10 distribution. These scores are from 1 to 10, have a mean of 5.5 and a standard deviation of 2. So this is the STEN that I was talking about. It's this one on the right. It has low and high and average. A rule of thumb is that scores of 8 to 10 are high scores of and scores of 1 to 3 are low. STEN 4 is generally considered low average and STEN 7 is considered high average. Scores of 5 or 6 are considered average and range of the 31st percentile to the 69th percentile. Scores are not considered good and low scores are not considered bad. Traits at both poles have some positive and negative consequences for behavior. I have here samples of response styles. First is infrequency. Infrequency. This scale is comprised of most statistically infrequent responses on the test, which are all middle, meaning the B responses, and appear in the test booklet with a question mark. So if you answer mostly B, this is what it means. A score at above the 95th percentile typically serves as a flag for this index and may indicate that the individual either had first trouble reading or comprehending the questions, responded randomly, experienced consistent indecisiveness about the A or C response choices. Or D, tried to avoid making the wrong impression by choosing the question mark, or B, the middle answer, rather than one of the more definite or extreme answers. Next is acquiescence. Did I say it right? This scale serves to raise a flag about possibility that the individual agreed with items regardless of what is being asked. A high score results when agreeable A or true response to true-false items is repeatedly selected. Doing so 70 times or more exceeds the 95th percentile for this index. A high score might indicate that the individual misunderstood the item, responded randomly, has a unclear self-image, had a yeah saying response style. Next is impression management. This scale is bipolar, with high scores reflecting socially desirable responses and low scoring reflecting socially undesirable responses. A raw score of 4 or lower serves to flag socially undesirable responses. So there's also what they call high impression management. Three possible explanations exist for an extremely high impression management, or IM. The individual may actually behave in highly socially desirable ways, in which case no distortion is at work. The responses may reflect a kind of unconscious distortion in that they are consistent with the individual's self-image but not with his or her behavior. The individual may have deliberately presented him or herself as having in a highly socially desirable manner. Such scores indicate that the individual was willing to endorse some undesirable characteristics, and therefore the profile likely reflects honest self reflection. Next is lower impression management, or IM. IM. Also an IM, impression management. Score suggests that unusual willingness to admit undesirable attributions or behaviors. Such a score can occur when a person is unusually self critical, discouraged, or under stress. Applications and limitations. Because of its strong scientific background, the 16PF questionnaire is used in a diverse range of contexts, including in industrial and organizational research, educational and medical settings. In addition, psychologists and counselors can use it too. 1. Provide information for vocational guidance, helping individuals determine occupations for which they are best suited, including as part of outplacement counseling. Assist with personal selection, promotion, coaching, and career development through measurement of 5 primary management dimensions. Supplement clinical diagnosis, prognosis, and therapy planning, as the 16PF instrument helps provide clinicians with a normal range measurement of anxiety, adjustment, and behavioral problems. In fact, the 16PF questionnaire gives an in depth, integrated picture of the whole person. It can also identify personality factors that may predict marital compatibility and satisfaction and highlight existing or potential problem areas. This one is actually in counseling. help identify students with potential academic, emotional, and social problems. And last, limitations. One study found that 10 factors failed to relate to its items in the present questionnaire. The researchers included that the 16PF questionnaire does not measure the factors which it purports to measure at a primary level. Thank you for listening. The end.